Alright guys, I am back with my review of this week's TNA Impact Wrestling for July 11th, 2013. I know I have a lot of videos to get done. They're going to be going up a little bit late today, but I want to get everything up before Money in the Bank starts tonight. I guess before I get into the actual video, I should mention that Matt Morgan's been released. My God, what are we going to do without Matt Morgan in TNA? Personally, I didn't really care much for the guy. I thought his best work, probably in his career, was the end of 2010 when he was kind of feuding with Anderson and Douglas Williams. And that's when I think he was actually in a main event. That's probably the best thing Matt Morgan's ever done. Recently, for months, I don't know how long this dumbass crap's been going on, but all they've had him do is come out wearing this stupid robe that Hulk Hogan used to wear. And that's about it. And then they had him job to Sting. So you got this 7-foot-tall guy you've been building up as this huge monster. He's just laying everybody out, and then he loses to a 54-year-old man. Yeah, I'm not surprised he wanted released from TNA. I mean, who'd want to stick around when that's all they use you for? So, I mean, I can understand why he left, and I can understand why TNA wouldn't keep him around. I mean, I didn't think he was that great. You can always do something with a guy who's that big. You can make them look like a monster. But for me personally, Matt Morgan just never really interested me. He's okay on the mic. He's not that great in the ring. His size is all he has going for him. And I need more than that. So anyways, Matt Morgan's gone. Don't know if he's going to go to WWE. I mean, he's got a beard. And that's what WWE's into right now. If you got a beard, holy crap. They can do anything with you. What is with all the beards in WWE? It just... I mean, just look at all these guys in the... I can't remember what it was. The developmental... not NXT, FCW. I was thinking OVW for TNA for some reason. But everybody had a giant beard. And then they put them all together. You had the Husky Harris, Brody Lee, and this Eric Rowan guy, and they had huge beards. Daniel Bryan's got a huge beard, and it's just kind of like, what the hell's going on in developmental? If you grow a beard, you get brought up. But anyways, Bully is backstage, and he's pissed off that Brooke got engaged, and says that she can move on when he says she can move on. The Aces come out, and Bully says Sabin better not cash in that title on him tonight. He says the Main Event Mafia challenged them to a fight at the Destination X show, and they refuse. So the Main Event Mafia come out, and Angle says next week they're going to eliminate every member of the Aces and Aces one by one, and that way when it's the main event and it's Bully versus Sabin, the Aces can't come out to help him. And Sting says that they will reveal another member tonight. Spoiler alert, I'm sure this video is going up late, so I'm sure everybody knows by now. It's Rampage Jackson. So Sting says he's a heavy hitter. For me personally, Rampage does nothing for me. I used to watch UFC and MMA and stuff like that, but I really haven't been into that in years. So bringing in Rampage Jackson doesn't impress me at all. I just don't care about the guy. And not only that, but we haven't seen what he's capable of, and I'm sure he's been training for like no time. So what are they going to use him for? I mean, if it's somebody like Magnus, okay, Magnus technically isn't main event, but he can at least go out there and wrestle. You can't do that with a Rampage. He's just going to be able to run out and swing a chain every now and then. That's about it. So, I mean, it was a surprise, but whatever. I don't really care. So Jeremy Borash and Christy Hemme are drawing names for the Joker's Wild Tournament. First is Jeff Hardy and his partner Joseph Park versus AJ and Samoa Joe. Tenay actually calls Taz out on trying to put himself over here. Taz kept talking about how he's been approached with offers to name theme rides after him. And he just keeps going on and on about these theme rides. So Tenay said something about him trying to get himself over. AJ gets Hardy in the calf killer, Park breaks it up in the greatest way possible. He comes out there and he doesn't really know what to do, so he just kind of hits AJ. But Joe chokes out Park for the win. Jay Bradley and Hernandez versus Anderson and Magnus. Anderson keeps jumping off the apron, refusing to let Magnus tag out. Eventually, Bradley accidentally trips Hernandez, so Magnus rolls him up for the win. It's kind of a lame finish here, but Rude tells Aries that he really needs these 25 points in the Joker's Wild tournament tonight. Kazarian and Daniels come up. They call them the Dirty Heels. So it's Daniels and Aries versus Kazarian and Rude. Aries actually is taking it to Kazarian at first, and then Daniels tags himself in to check to make sure Kazarian's okay. But towards the end of the match, they're all just wrestling each other because, and I'm glad they did this because they made it look like the Bound for Glory series is something really important, that even if you are in a team with someone, you have to work against that person because you want to win the title, you want to win this series. So I like that. So Kazarian is pinning Aries. Daniels runs in to break it up. They're like, hey, what the hell's going on here? And later on, Daniels tags himself back in, and Kazarian is able to get him in a small package for the win. And what I really liked about this finish was Austin Aries runs in like he's going to try and break it up and trips on the bottom rope, and it just looked perfect. Really believable stuff here. So Hogan is talking to Brooke, and he wants to know about Bully Ray, but she says nothing's going on. She just wants to focus on her job tonight. Bully Ray has the Aces vote for the new VP, and it all comes down to Nuxie, and he votes for Anderson, so Anderson's the new vice president. Thank God this is over. And then Doc is pissed off at Nuxie. Taryn Terrell versus Gail Kim in a fantastic ladder match here. These girls, I don't think it was as good as the first match they had when it was last knockout standing, but damn, they still worked their asses off here. I didn't think that it would be able to live up to that first match, but it was close, and they did a lot of cool spots with the ladder. Mickie James comes out, and she sits at ringside to watch. They both fall off the top of the ladder onto the ropes. Taryn whips Gail into the ladder. She ducks underneath it, comes back, and Taryn just throws the ladder in her face. Taryn gets another ladder and brings it in, and she sits it between the ropes and the ladder. And I was thinking, are they going to do something really crazy here, like a pile driver onto that ladder between the ropes and the ladder? But they really just had Taryn go for a diamond cutter on top of it and Gail throw her off. But that was fine. I didn't want to see them take any really big risks here, especially since Taryn Terrell is kind of green. But Gail puts Taryn in the figure four using the ladder. Taryn dives off the top of the ladder, hits a crossbody on Gail, and Gail goes for Eat Defeat, but Taryn counters with the Dragon Sleeper. And while she's got her in the Dragon Sleeper, Gail ties Taryn's hair to the ropes. And then when Taryn's stuck, she runs up and grabs the contract. So I thought this was a great match. I didn't mind the finish at all. I thought it was unique. I haven't seen anything like that before. So this was a good match here, and really helped make this show great. Sting gets a call from the fifth member. We get the gauntlet match, starting with AJ and Magnus. Basically, it's like a Royal Rumble. After so many minutes, a guy will come out, and you can eliminate them by throwing them over the top rope. But once it's down to two, you have to win by pinfall or submission. So it's AJ and Magnus, then it's Hernandez, then Samoa Joe. Or was that Kazarian? Yeah, I guess that would have been Kazarian because Hernandez was eliminated early on. So AJ throws Kazarian over the top, eliminating him. Anderson and Rude come out next. Anderson eliminates AJ, and Joe eliminates Anderson with a clothesline, but they both go over the top, so they're both eliminated. Comes down to Magnus and Bobby Roode. A lot of back and forth here. It was really good stuff, and Magnus pins Roode for the win. This really surprised me. Magnus gets the 25 points here, but I don't think Roode has any points, so I was expecting Roode to go over, finally get on the leaderboard, and this would be a way for them to kind of put him up high. since he's been losing a lot. But no, they still went with Magnus. So this was a big surprise, but I mean, I'm fine with this. I'm glad they're pushing Magnus finally. So Hogan comes out wearing a cheetah print bandana. This looked ridiculous. He has Sabin come out. Sabin gets ready to hand over the title, but Bully Ray comes out and says, hey, you better not do that. And Sabin says that he's beat Bully before. He's fine being the underdog. And Bully says, well, you're not just fighting me, you're fighting my family. The Aces and Eights come out. Main event Mafia comes out and reveal Rampage to be the 5th member. So that was pretty much Impact this week. And I have to say it was a good show. The ladder match was great. I enjoyed the Joker's Wild tournament. The gauntlet match at the end. Just a lot of good stuff on this week's show. And I can't really think of anything that I didn't like on this one. I was very surprised just with how good this was. And they got a lot of stuff accomplished here. They got the vice president situation out of the way now. But yeah, gauntlet match, Joker's Wild tournament, ladder match. This was a good wrestling show this week. So that's my review of this week's show. Hope you guys liked the video. Leave your thoughts on this week's show in the comments, and thanks for watching.